Hi, I'm Terry White and this is Designing by Thread. Today I'm going to show you how to stitch a miniature rug using 2 threads for the eye of the needle with these beautiful colorful variegated threads and a single thread painting stitch to create a beautiful little folk art rug. Let's stitch. This is our little cherry rug project. It's 3 inches and by 4 inches finished measurement, and it gets all of its complexity and colors from the variegated threads that were used. This is the pattern, and you can see how simple it is. You want to trace it onto your fabric. I traced it onto Osnaburg using a light table and my archival pen. For hooping this design, you want to use a hand embroidery hoop, wooden screw type. Now the small ring stays on the top and the big ring goes on the bottom, and you want to center your design. Now I like to stand up when I do this because then I have equal pressure on the different sides to just push it in and get good firm tension right off the bat. Okay? If you have to pull the edges in, be sure not to distort your design. Okay, so let's get our machine ready to go. So we're going to start with the bottom and go up. And so you need your bobbin thread. We're going to use serger thread, which is about a 60 weight thread. It's not like the lightest bobbin thread, and it's not as heavy as your regular sewing thread. And then the next thing up is your feed teeth. So you need your feed teeth dropped, down, or covered. Then we want a darning foot. It may be called an open toe stippling foot, a stippling foot. Look in your sewing machine manual for that information. And then you want a size 100 top stitch needle. Now you're going to thread your sewing machine as if you had a twin needle in your machine. So check your sewing machine manual as to how to thread for a twin needle. I'm going to show you by drawing the stitch that we're going to create. It's like this, only it'll be much smaller. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing. That is a French knot. Okay, we're ready to stitch. So the first thing you want to do is pull your bobbin thread up by doing needle down and needle up. Okay, and then you pull your bobbin thread up. Okay, now you don't want to stitch really fast. You want to keep a momentum. Now what you're seeing me do here is stitching along the edge of the cherry, and the 2 threads that I'm using are the Beijing Red and Napa Valley Wine. And I'm just going to go along one edge and then I'm going to go back. In that little French knot stitch. Now you can see that I've been holding on to these threads and I haven't cut them off yet. I have to cut them off. Sometimes I forget to cut them off, or I get so excited about the stitching that I just don't want to stop. Go back around here. Okay. So now I'm going to start stitching in the center in these little French knots. You'll create your own hand movements, whatever's comfortable for you. One thing I want you to notice is that I am not stitching really fast. When you stitch really fast, you're going to cause thread tension problems. It's different than free motion quilting. This is embroidery. This is stitching. want you to also hear how the needle kind of clumps. Well, you've got heavy stitching going on, and it's like you're stitching through a heavy fabric when you're using this much thread, and that's normal, and it's okay, and you don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to put my needle up, press her foot up, and move along to the next cherry. You see that? I finished my cherries, and I've changed to my 2 green threads. They are Meadow and Foliage, which is a light green, and then a dark variegated stripe green. So we're going to get a really cool effect with this. Each time I change the thread, I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up again to start. Now, I'm going to take a few stitches and then show you something. Okay, you can see that the green, that you only need 1 row of those French knots for the green stems. Okay, now what I want to show you here is how I'm holding the hoop. I'm not gripping or grasping, and so I don't have tension on my hands. You see? The hoop is holding a tension on the fabric, so I don't have to. I only need to guide the hoop. Now I'm going to go from one spot to the next. I'm going to raise up my needle, and then I'm going to raise my presser foot to travel over here. Okay, now you can see, now I'm going to just go right into the leaf here. What you can see is the light and the dark, and it's changing because one of the threads is got a real stark contrast in the light and the dark, and then the other green that's with it keeps it kind of subtle so that it's not too stark. Now I'm just stitching along the contour of this leaf. I had my first row, so here's my second row going right along it. The only reason I drew that center vein on the leaf was just as a guide to continue with the contour stitching. Because the cool thing here is that the way the threads change make the design more interesting without really trying. Just love what the variegates can do for us.